Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, The Mandalorian Season 2 Spoilercast and first live one for 2021. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we talk about the exploits of Din Djarin, Grogu, Cara Dune,
Kara?
Cara Dune.
Yeah, Kara.
Cara Dune, Grief Karga, Moff Gideon, Ahsoka Tano, Boba Fett, Fennec Shan, Bo-Katan, Kreese, Migs Mayfield, and more, along with the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. Probably not a lot of that tonight, but you know what I mean. I am one of your three hosts tonight, the Brazilian nerf herder Lucas Ham Swisher.
Nice.
Also with me, the judge, jury, and executioner of spoilers and sleemos, Patrick Novosel.
There's going to be a lot of spoilers tonight.
You know it, my
Yes.
friend. And then the final member with us tonight of the GMG Quadfecta, who has Grogu in his heart, the next bounty on his brain, and blue milk in his old stomacho, Mark Boucher.
There be spoilers afoot. I have spoken.
Do you
I
have
hope you're
blue
ready.
milk?
If I do, it's probably not the blue milk you want to drink.
Oh, yeah.
What
you're
does that
probably
mean?
Right. Just put some food coloring in it. You'll be
Spoiled
all
milk.
right.
Does it turn blue when it spoils? That
I don't
doesn't
know.
sound nice. All right.
Cottage cheese stays white.
All right. Well, you guys mentioned spoilers. Let's give a little bit of a non-spoiler portion to the show for those who maybe stumbled upon us accidentally and was like, "Oh, I like The Mandalorian." They have no idea what's going on. Hey, friends, we are going to give you a few minutes to listen to our spoiler-free review and overall thoughts, and then here, probably in like 5-10 minutes, we're going to jump headfirst into spoilers. So let's just jump in. We're talking about Mandalorian season 2. We'll probably discuss a little bit of season 1 since we technically haven't had a spoiler cast about that. I don't think so.
No, we have not.
Nope.
No. So this is just season 1 and 2, focusing on season 2.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our overall thoughts, starting with Patrick. What did you think of Mandalorian season 2, spoiler free? Maybe even give it a rating if you're
Okay,
feeling
yeah,
rambunctious.
So season 2, I thought the each episode, I wish all episodes were like an hour long. Some of them are 45, some of them are
I
20.
know, right?
Sometimes I'm like, wow, I can't believe there's not more in an episode. But I like how Mandalorian keeps it very tight. They don't do a lot of fluff. It's like, hey, this is the mission, this is what we're gonna do, and then they that's all they do. They don't go off and on these huge tangents like a series does with like 20 episodes a season. So I like how it's tight. I think there was only 8 episodes for
Correct.
this season.
Mhm.
And each episode was great. There were some, quote unquote boss battles. There was it was very Star Wars fan service friendly kind of series. For the season 2, they gave us a lot more Baby Yoda, and
Oh, yeah.
which is I think this show would not be the same if it didn't have Baby Yoda. But it was great. The overarching theme of season 2 was great. The ending was fantastic. Just waiting to see what season 3 is going to look like.
Right.
But if I had to give it a rating for this, I would give it a straight up 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
Mhm.
A fine rating.
Yeah.
Mark Boucher, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, man. For the most part, this season was basically firing on all cylinders. I think there was maybe like one episode that pretty much felt like a filler episode, and even then, it was still good. It's still a good episode to watch. Everything else was excellent. It's fun to see new. Well, I know Jon Favreau is not a new director, but people bringing new life to this property and bringing new stories and playing in the sandbox, and making it enough to where you recognize certain things and like, okay, this is definitely in the Star Wars world, but at the same time bringing some new elements to it. Definitely lots and lots of references to other aspects of the Star Wars universe, which we will talk about more in the spoiler portion. But I think overall, with the exception of maybe one episode, I think the writing was great. Everything was well paced. I do agree that episodes could have been longer, but at the same time, I guess that's their carrot on the stick. It makes you want more.
Yeah, definitely.
So they keep it coming back. But overall, I would say same with Pat, 9 out of 10.
Nice.
All right.
So I'm interested to know what episode you thought was a filler episode.
Yeah,
maybe we get into the spoiler
intrigued.
part, but I am intrigued about that
definitely.
episode.
Save it for on the other side of the spoiler wall.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I think to talk about overall thoughts, I do also have to talk very quickly about the journey of watching the show. I really loved the fact that with the show, I got to experience it week by week, like the good old days, back in the day when stuff wasn't just dropped on you like a ton of bricks and you just binged it in a day or a weekend. With season 1 and season 2, getting to watch it week to week, talk to people about it a little bit, talk about it with my wife, like talking about the thoughts we had. And then in between watching both season 1 and season 2, in between that, then also watching a lot of the Clone Wars, Rebels, some of the extra stuff that definitely inspired season 2. It just enhanced the experience, because then the second time we binged to watch it with my kids, season 1 through 2, and it was even better.
Sure.
Just to give real quick context on season 1, I gave probably season 1 a 9 out of 10 after first viewing. And I'll be honest that most of the points taken off is because 2 of the episodes did not have the in the title, and that was a missed opportunity. Every episode had a the. Season 2, every episode had the something. And so season 1, I'm like, why? Why do you I think it was episode 4 and episode 5, Sanctuary and Redemption. Just call it The Sanctuary and The Redemption.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not that hard.
Not hard at all.
Who
They
fire the guy that accidentally deleted they ran out of bits. You change that font to Comic Sans and you put the in there. That would have made it perfect. 10 out of 10. So, yeah, I know, right? But yeah, season 2, they corrected that. So real quick, my rating, 9.5 out of 10 on season 2.
Nice.
I would agree.
So close.
The inconsistent time, I know it seems nitpicky, but when the first episode is 55 minutes and then the next one is like 34, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Who's cheating me out of 20 minutes
That is
of
kinda
Grogu?
weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
out of Baby Yoda.
You mentioned it already, so I mean.
Yep.
I feel
Oh,
like
wait,
that's
did I?
just common
Oh, I
knowledge.
did. Yeah, that's true. All right, fair enough. But yeah, it's just like the way they develop their relationship between Baby Yoda. I'm going to go back. I'm going to just take it back a step.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda and Mando. The way they develop Mando's character. The way they develop actually season 1 characters, like bringing them back and then they just keep developing multiple characters. It's not just about the Mandalorian. Season 2's just building the lore and just everything you guys talked about plus more. It just, man, it was just so good. And watching it with my kids and getting excited and pumped about who was going to show up in this episode or that episode. Like you said, Patrick, there was a lot of boss fights. There was a lot of like just cameos, like people showing up for one episode, and it was well done. It wasn't just like, well, we got to put someone in this episode. No, it was like everything fit together and followed the trail to what got us to the last episode. That was just like, what just happened? So let's with that's all I have to say about that. I say we jump right into spoilers. Folks, if you're listening and you haven't watched season 1, season 2, stop this recording, binge it right now, and then just hit play again, and we'll be here.
It's not hard to binge
ready
it. I
for you.
binged it over 2 days. Watch 4 episodes a day. It's just like watching a movie. It's 2 hours long, and then you're done. You watch another movie, another 2 hours, another 4 episodes, and you're there.
Yep.
Not bad. Unless you're Ronnie.
Right.
And he'll wait until the last possible second to do it.
Yeah, and watch the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Spread the first 4 episodes out over like 3 or 4 months, and then the last week, watch 4 episodes.
Yeah.
We love you, Ronnie, if you're listening.
Love you, man.
Yep. All right, so this is spoilers. You've been warned. Last warning. Go away, but then come back.
We love you, but go away.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it.
All right, so season 2 picks up picks up right where season 1 left off. The Mandalorian decided to go back on his bounty. Actually, he decided to keep the reward for finding Baby Yoda and the child and
Now
getting his
Grogu.
Beskar armor, and then going on, trying to escape the Empire, and then finally facing the Empire at the end of season 1, and then was given a task, like just straight out of a video game. Like, here's the next part of the next level. You have to go find the people of the child, the wizards, as they called them. And so that's where we start season 2. He's looking for the wizards, aka the Jedi. And it starts with him trying to find more Mandalorians because he needs guidance from his people. And so the first episode is called The Marshal, and the Marshal being Timothy Oliphant, which was a nice little surprise. Not just that it was Timothy Oliphant, but that he's wearing Boba Fett's armor.
And it was crazy when they showed that scene of him wearing the armor, and Timothy Oliphant has like a frame for him, and he was standing there, and I was like, that guy looks like Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
And he takes off the helmet like right afterwards. So I was like, it's Timothy Oliphant. I was like, how did I knew? It felt weird. Like I knew what he looked like with the helmet on.
That is funny.
Yeah, he's just got that frame on him. And I was like, that's not Boba Fett. And then come to find out, he just got it from Jawas. He tried to the Empire. The second Death Star had blown up. And then I don't know what those some sort of raiders.
Guild.
Yeah, they came in.
Guild had come in. Yep.
Yeah. And then he got over. Picked up by some Jawas, and he got that armor, and he came back and he pretty much just obliterated them. They went off on a speeder, and he just used Boba Fett's missile that was on his backpack, and
he
just
Iron Manned them.
It was so awesome. It was so cool.
Yeah, he just pointed his little rocket at him and just pew.
Yeah,
and they exploded. Yeah.
But then, so Mando's like, I want it back. And then he's like, well, we got this big, huge snake that I need to kill. Which...
Yep, it's not a snake. It's the Krayt Dragon.
The Krayt Dragon. Yes, sorry.
Little known
I kind of
fact.
belittled its name.
You did, the snake.
Definitely, sorry.
Like it's Jake the Snake. It's not Jake the Krayt Dragon Roberts. But so the Krayt Dragon is the boss fight. The very first episode, we're slaying a monster. And something interesting about the Krayt Dragon is that in A New Hope, episode 4 of Star Wars, when Obi-Wan is chasing off the Sand People, the sound he makes is supposed to be the sound of a Krayt Dragon. Did you know this?
Really?
Lucas fact.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
That's a pig sound.
No, I didn't know that.
So yeah. Yep.
Good.
So little known fact.
Yeah.
Tidbit.
But yeah.
So that battle, they're them getting ready for that. That was
that whole thing was so cool.
It was like they tried to lure it out, but then it went back into its hole and then ended up at the top of the mountain. Yeah. And then they flew up in their jetpacks to go after him. Like that was like epic. Like I'm like this is the Disney Plus TV show. This is, and it's got like these special effects and these kind of epic landscapes, and it was just impressive. Like really, really good. It felt Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's pretty sweet that scene where obviously they're fighting the Krayt Dragon and Mando, he like basically, if I remember correctly, now I haven't done a recent watching of this. Like I didn't watch it over again.
We'll correct you.
Yeah. He basically jumps into the Krayt Dragon's mouth with that explosive.
Yep.
The explosives were on the back of that yak or whatever that was.
The yakety yak.
Yeah. What?
The bantha.
The bantha.
He pretty much holds on to the bantha that is like wearing a 3-piece suit of explosives, and they get swallowed up. Yeah. Man, that was a sweet move too.
And then just blows it up from the inside, and all of the sand people. No,
they go to town.
They're like eating it, or they're like carving
it
up.
They're hacking at it. They're cutting it up. They're making filet mignon.
It's disgusting.
They're making ribeye.
This is a delicacy.
What kind of meat would you like? What cut would you like?
Mando has this big, huge ribeye in the back of his speeder.
just pops it on there. Speaking of the Sand People, I really loved the development in Mando's relationship with the Sand People. Like speaking the sign language, like that was real. Those were real people that were deaf, and they were using real sign language. These were like deaf actors in this.
Oh, no way. That's
portion.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So cool.
That's attention to detail right there.
So was that the sign language that they were using? Was it the Sand People sign language, or was that real sign language that they were using?
I believe it was real sign language.
Oh, that's really cool.
They didn't make like a Sand People sign language. I don't think.
I don't know. They come up with their own languages and all that.
Right. That happens sometimes, but I believe they were using real sign language, and even his Mando interacting with the Sand People's dogs. I don't even know what those creatures are called.
Yeah.
But that moment where the marshal's like ready to shoot the dogs, and Mando goes up and pretty much starts rubbing his tummy and patting him on the head and like going like using the voices and stuff. That was so cool. He was like the creature whisperer.
Yeah. Nice to have some development for the Tusken Raiders. They're not just
Exactly.
savages that attack you on a whim.
Yeah. That was really cool about that episode. For sure.
But when going back to when Timothy Oliphant's character showed up, when he first stepped in through like the saloon doors, I believe his name's Cobb Vanth. He steps in, and I'm like, and he's obviously wearing Boba Fett's armor, and I'm like, this guy's too scrawny to be Boba Fett. There's no way.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not the build of Boba Fett, and then I'm like, okay. So it's obviously somebody else.
But when then Boba Fett, we're going to fast forward right now because I want to. When you're talking about Timothy Oliphant wearing it, you put Boba Fett finally puts it on later in the series, and he's
like, hit a treadmill, buddy.
He's like, whoa, he's not built for that. It fits, but it's crazy because from the first episode where Timothy Oliphant is wearing the Boba Fett armor, it's like busted up, and then when Boba Fett puts it on, later on, it's like. It looks good. It looks like he cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah, he gets a
lot of it
and stuff on it.
Yeah.
But shoot, lost my train of thought.
Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. But obviously, okay, we're not gonna get Boba Fett this early, are we? Because I knew they were introducing him, and then sure enough, by the episode's end, when Mando's got the armor and stuff that Cobb Vanth gives him, who shows up at the end in like this Tusken Raider looking robe with a big old weapon on his back, but Boba Fett, a very battle damaged Boba Fett, obviously surviving his tussle with the Sarlacc pit in episode 6.
I'm curious to know how many people actually recognized that was Boba Fett, because my kids did not. They were just like, oh, "Who's that, Daddy?"
Who's that guy?
I'm like, look at the actor's face. Who does he look like? A clone. I'm like, yeah. And who was a clone? Much to some of Star Wars fandom's chagrin. They're like,
so it was
Boba Fett.
Yeah, when he turned and he like went towards the screen and the episode ended, it took me a second. I was like, hold on, who was that? And I rewound it. And I was like, is that the same actor? No way.
Yep.
Morrison.
That's awesome. That was really cool. I was not expecting that.
Now, do you know that
old Tamura Morrison?
in this episode in the Marshal, there was Timothy Oliphant.
Yes. I don't know.
Yep.
Yes, either way.
Tim Ollie. And then there was the actor that plays Boba Fett that cameoed. And then, there was a third pretty well-known actor that was the Cyclops towards the beginning when Mando was trying to find out information about Tatooine and about where to find Mandalorians. Mm-hmm. We didn't even talk about that portion of the episode where Baby Yoda closes the shell real quick when things are about to go down.
That was hilarious.
Moment. Oh, that is what's his face from Shaun of the Dead? Isn't it that guy?
Mm-hmm. I read that it was John Leguizamo played
the
Cyclops. Okay. Yeah, which I did not see. I could not tell that was John Leguizamo and did not see, but sources told me that it was John Leguizamo, so I thought that was a pretty cool surprise. So. Yeah. So that's episode 8, The Marshal. The next episode was called The Passenger, and it started in Tatooine and introed us to the Frog Lady, who was definitely a central figure for this episode and the next episode. And what did you guys think of this episode? Mark?
May I go first?
Yeah, I
ahead.
was just going to
It's
ask
all
you.
you.
This is the filler episode. So to me, like, this was the most like stuff happened, obviously, but like this was the most like short and to me arc-less portion of the season. Everything else was like on all cylinders and stuff, and then there's this side thing where they're taking this frog lady to get her eggs, make sure her eggs are fertilized and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this was like the least important episode. I guess there's some character development in terms of the child.
There's definitely some development with the child.
Yeah. What bothered me was, obviously, he meets up, Mando and the child meet up with that mechanic lady. I'm forgetting her name.
I'm forgetting her name too.
Yeah.
But the mechanic lady works. The Tatooine mechanic lady.
Like her, I don't know if it was just her acting or what she was given, but like it was very like wooden to me and like very like middle school play. And it's like, man, who wrote this stuff for her? Like most of this, usually this stuff is like incredibly on par. Everything's great. But like to me, her particular lines were like, ugh. That doesn't
she sometimes comes off a little awkward, yeah. I think too. She's kind of grown on me though.
I like her
from
character.
Season 1.
I do like her character.
Yeah. Season 1, I was like, but Season 2, I liked her better.
Yeah. A little bit more character development. But I agree with you, Mark. The second episode, there was some epic scenes with the spiders.
Yeah.
And there were funny scenes where
oh my gosh,
Grogu was eating the eggs.
That was downright like borderline, just terrible. Like he's eating a race of people, like a people race, a creature race, whatever, the last of their kind, and he's just like popping them like Mentos or something.
Yeah. But I agree with you. This was I think the most important part of this was his ship was damaged, pretty badly, which led into the third episode where he gets a little bit repairs, but it ultimately he needs to go back to Tatooine. Yeah. He needs to go back to that lady that can fix his ship the way he needs to get it fixed. So that was pretty much, I guess, the only reason I could see of them going on that ice planet in episode 2.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, after we got through the whole episode, I was like, well, that was fun. Grogu was funny, or the child at the time was funny. And then I was like, well, what about Boba Fett? They name dropped him and showed his face and all that stuff in the first episode, and then second episode was like nothing. Yeah. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and like I said, like the filler episode was still solid.
It's still entertaining.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
definitely,
it was popcorn. It was really popcorn.
Yeah.
Right there on episode 2.
Yeah.
If we're gonna really look at it as the weakest of the episodes. Interestingly enough, directed by Peyton Reed, who directed Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Nice. Very nice.
Great movies.
All right.
Underrated.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why they're underrated. They're so funny.
I like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is one of my favorite actors. He's just got that goofy
look at us
to him. Yeah.
Look at us. All right, next episode is the Harris or the Heiress? Heiress. I always want to say Harris, like, oh, look, the Harris. The Heiress.
Like heir to the throne. It's
Heiress.
Yeah. I know this in my head, but then my mouth says, I'm just going to pronounce the H.
I know how to do words good.
I speak well. I speak good. All right. The Heiress, featuring Bo-Katan, who my family and I like to call Bo-Katan until she pronounced it correctly, and we were like, oh, right. And she was in this character, Bo-Katan, that you get introduced to, like, I think a third into the episode. She's in Clone Wars. She's introduced in Clone Wars. She's actually a villain at the beginning, a part of the Death Watch, which that's something that gets introduced. The idea gets introduced in this episode of The Mandalorian that maybe you guys don't know about. But when Mandalore is first entered into the Clone Wars, they have a faction on their planet called the Death Watch who wants to help Mandalore rise up and become a power in the galaxy. And so they're seen as kind of a villainous faction. And so it's revealed that Mando is actually a part of the Death Watch, or the remnant of the Death Watch, that they don't have the same desires that they used to, but they still follow the ways, like not taking off the mask and that kind of stuff. And funnily enough, Bo-Katan used to be a part of the Death Watch, and then partway through Clone Wars, she broke off from that and actually joined the Jedi. She joined the Republic enough in the sense to take down Death Watch and some of the people who were working with them, like Darth Maul and some others. That happened during Clone Wars. And then in Rebels, she's still trying to establish Mandalore in a positive way. So it was really cool to have her on the show.
That is really cool. Unfortunately, I don't like the actress that plays Bo-Katan.
Katie Sackhoff, yeah.
She's like a very, very good villain. Like in a sense where she has that, I don't know, the way she carries herself. So seeing her in when she was in Battlestar Galactica, I couldn't watch it because of her. And unfortunately, but she was good.
Really?
She was good in this one. I was like, okay, I can get behind her because the way she acts is, I guess it is comparable to the character that she plays in this series.
It really is. Yeah. Cool. I was just going to say that with her showing up, that was a really exciting moment for us Clone Wars and Rebel watchers. And it's revealed that she's looking for Moff Gideon and the Darksaber, which we hadn't seen or heard anything about since the end of season 1. So that was a cool little thing, little known fact to some who haven't watched, but Bo-Katan actually used to possess the Darksaber during Rebels.
Yes, I think they alluded to that in
that it used to be hers
in the series.
There's some
on
questions
Twitch,
I have about that.
Mountain Nerds Pod says, I do like how she voices her and plays her live action. So she does the voice in Clone Wars or Rebels?
I had forgot about that, but yes, I believe she's the same person.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Good call, Mountain Nerd. Thanks for the little.
And then Tim Pollen says, GMG, this is the way. And Arctic M77 is also in the chat as well.
Hey guys. Tim says, GMG, this is the way. Mm-hmm.
That is right.
So anything else about episode 3 that...
I like seeing the Mandalorians kind of coordinate their fighting and just like cleaning up the house, the stormtroopers, wiping them all over the place like plops. just smearing them all over the ship. That was fun.
Was episode 3 when they got on the ship?
Yes, they rocket pack up it.
Oh my gosh! And that was it? Did they take over the cockpit? Was that episode 3?
They took over the cockpit, and then the guy electrocuted himself with the little tooth.
Yeah, that's right.
Suicide pill or whatever. My kids were like, "What did he do?" And I'm like, "He zapped himself. He's dead." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So that was and then in that one they also name dropped Ahsoka Tano, who. Again, is a very well-known Star Wars character in the animated series of Clone Wars and Rebels, and it was like, yes, confirmed. We're going to get to see her, and so that was definitely a big deal.
Cool.
Yeah. Other than that, that's all I got for that episode.
They introduced. Pat, you watch wrestling quite a bit.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Sasha Banks. She plays.
Yep. There you go.
So she it was actually pretty cool to see her in that. She didn't do a bad job, usually when people go from one profession to acting, it's kind of rough, but it was cool to see Gina Carano, which is an MMA fighter, and Sasha Banks, who is a wrestler. It was really cool to see both of them actually in there and holding their own.
Yeah, for sure. And so after this episode, the heiress, as is tradition, they don't touch anything with Ahsoka Tano after dropping her name and go to do the siege, where they return to the planet of Navarro, and we get to hang out with Cara Dune again, Gina Carano, the wrestler,
Yeah.
and Grief Karga, aka Apollo Creed. That was cool to see those guys. I'm really glad that they're just a really fun duo that they kind of partnered up on Navarro to clean it up and that kind of stuff. Do you guys know that Gina Carano, when she originally signed up for The Mandalorian, she thought she was going to be a female Wookiee?
Yeah,
No way.
Yeah.
she could play the
She
part
didn't
though.
She didn't even think they'd see her face. She
Yeah.
was just like, all right, I'm going to do whatever. I love Star Wars. And so she was going to get in there.
Yeah.
So it was great to have Mando back with them again. Like, I already feel like they're like old friends
That's a
after
good
everything
squad.
that happened in season 1. They're a good squad.
Carl Weathers directed this episode, Grief Karga.
He did. That's right.
No way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He did.
That's neat.
Yeah. So that was cool. They took down a base, and it was a good time. They rocked it.
awesome.
Had
When
go ahead.
when they got on that, I don't know, whatever it was, like a Empire van looking station wagon.
Yep, the minivan. That's a soccer mom. The soccer mom Empire, the Imp
Mom
minivan.
That they just like launched off that platform and then were just racing away.
Yeah.
And that firefight against those was it TIE fighters behind them?
It started out with the speeders, and then the TIE fighters came in. after.
Yeah,
Almost
that was
messed them
really,
up.
really good. Really well done.
Yeah, that was really cool. Did you guys pay attention to the part where they discovered the science lab and the little experiments, which were actually an allusion to clones in the tanks?
Yep.
Talking about the M count of
Oh,
Grogu.
I can't believe they brought
Talking-
that back.
Yeah. That
I
caused
couldn't
some
either.
disdain on the
Freaking
internet. I'm like,
midichlorians.
Midichlorians.
you know what? Like, see,
Nerd
like,
alert.
I am not the Star Wars like purist. Like, they're gonna talk about the midichlorians. All right, okay.
All
I'm
right,
just gonna-
I guess if you have to,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna make some
Continue to tell your
Pop-Tarts and
story.
just-
I'm going to continue to love it because I love Star
Yeah.
Wars. You know, I don't get into the weeds. I don't get granular at that level. I know it's a big thing when they went to the second trilogy for episodes 1 through 3, and they were talking about it. People were like, "Nah, we don't want that." And then they do it again, and the internet blew up again. But I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's
If
not the
they
worst
don't,
thing, but it's
yeah,
just
if they don't
like,
bring it, if they don't,
ugh.
it's very small. Like it could not even be a part of this series ever. So
At least he didn't name it. At least he wasn't like, and the midichlorian count. He was just like the M count. It was like really fast, kind of under the table move. It wasn't outright super nerdy. So there's that at least.
yeah.
The last highlight I had of this episode was Grogu, the child, his classroom encounter where he
Oh
stole
my gosh, that
the
was this
kids'
episode.
Cookies. These cookies are actually called Navarro Nummies Macaroons, and you can buy them at williamssonoma.com, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, they look like stuff
look
my kids have
yummy.
eaten before.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to eat those, but you know.
They're like cookies.
You know what it kind of reminded me of was Napoleon Dynamite when that bully wants the tater tots from Napoleon. It's like,
No, get your
Napoleon, give me
own.
your tots. That was Grogu. Grogu was the bully in that moment. And he's like, hey, kid, give me your macaroons. And then the kid's like, no. And then
No.
Grogu just takes it. And then later on when he's in the ship with Mando fighting the TIE fighters and he's like putting his hands up and like act like he's on a roller coaster, then he barfs all over himself. That was classic.
That was a
classic
good-
Grogu.
good
It
one.
always blows me away that is multiple people using like being that puppet.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's
crazy.
That's multiple people.
And it looks so good.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be one of the best puppets and the mix of CG and puppetry that.
There's more than one person that has to put on that costume.
Oh yeah,
There-
they have
it's
little.
not. It's not
They
a
put on the
costume.
costume on their face.
Here, you
That's
get on
a-
the left side. and
That is
I'll be on the
amazing
right.
special effects that they're doing.
Yeah, one guy gets a
Good.
little arm and moves it around, and then another guy gets in. And then he has it like this. Like, get him up here. And just like, hey, gotta get a move here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good
learn
stuff.
something new every day.
Of course. So yeah,
All right, so that was episode
Siege.
what 4, 5?
that was episode 4. We're halfway
4.
there. Oh, we're halfway there.
Wow.
All right, then. I was hoping you finished that. The next episode, finally, the Jedi. Woo! Here we go.
Yeah, one of the two big
Tano,
ones.
which is ironic because Ahsoka Tano definitely says during Clone Wars and Rebels, "I am not a
no
Jedi." Yeah, so it's like you called it the Jedi, but I know it's based off of like they're interpreting her as a Jedi because she uses her magic fingers
Yep.
and does the Force stuff. So it makes sense. But man, what an intro to Ahsoka Tano. Taking out
Yes.
fools, like using her dual lightsabers and just
Yeah.
like slipping in and out of the clouds, slipping in and out of the fog.
And this is my first, I guess, interaction with
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Like
Yep.
because I didn't watch the Clone Wars. She was in Clone Wars or Rebels, whichever one.
All of those, yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Clone
So,
Wars and Rebels. You follow her from a teenager all the way to her adult years.
but it was a
in
great,
Clone Wars and
great
Rebels.
start to it. And like
Yeah.
you got lightsabers, dual lightsabers, just kicking butt. It was a great start.
Yep. Man, I heard obviously a lot of people loved Rosario Dawson's performance, but she got a fair amount of hate because if you pay attention to, and it's not so much Rosario Dawson, it's the design of Ahsoka.
Of her headdress.
Yeah, the
like
headdress.
Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't as tall as it is in Rebels.
Yep.
And they actually explain that in a behind the scenes episode. Like, y'all,
do they? Tell me.
Basically, it's not practical to make it that tall.
No, that's what I thought too, because it gets huge in Rebels. It's
Yeah.
like another head on top of her. Can you imagine like trying to flip
Yeah.
around?
To do all that
weight
fight
on your head?
choreography, it's just not
Yeah.
practical.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a
so-
big head, and I know I'm very limited by my big head, but her head would be like triple the size of mine, and that would
Right.
be awkward.
But yeah, I started this episode, and the wife was in the room with me, and she's not looking. She's playing solitaire, and she's looking, and she's like, that voice sounds familiar." I was like, "Yeah, that's Rosario Dawson, and she's killing it."
Mhm.
Yeah, she did kill it. It was so good.
Yeah.
Just her having that fight scene at the beginning, then Mando just kind of nonchalantly coming in and be like, "Hey, anything I can help with?" And like, "We're looking for a Jedi," and he's like, "Oh, okay.
Are you
I
now?"
guess I could help with that." And then encounters in their forest, and they have a nice little spat. Mando does the Boba Fett move of wrapping the Jedi with his cable, which Ahsoka quickly gets out of.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Grogu's name is revealed, and we can call him Grogu.
Oh, that scene when they
Orion.
were saying Grogu, and then Grogu was just like, "Huh?
Oh, that is so funny. Grogu.
And now it's and now it's a party trick.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think he does it in the next episode too. He's like, Grogu.
Right?
He's like, I think it's funny. Like to this point, like what did he answer to? Like he is so like just spot on to answering when hearing
Kid.
Grogu.
He's
Like
kid.
so what?
It's
Hey,
just kid." He
child.
called him kid.
Hey kid. Yeah, I guess he did. But it was just so funny, so funny, and to find out that he was like in the temple or like trained in the Jedi temple during episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then he got I guess
Taken.
snuck
Yeah.
out. Like someone, I'd like to think R2D2. Skip ahead real quick to the last episode. I like to think R2D2 snuck him out. That's my like fan theory that's why they recognize each other. But
Possible.
that happens later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty cool that they give that backstory that he's like 50. I mean, we already knew he's 50 years old, but that he had kind of suppressed everything to hide. Yeah, that whole thing was really cool encounter.
Yeah.
And of course, using the little knob from the gear shift to get him to do the force powers was just classic.
That was really good. I like how they brought
Yeah.
that back in season 2.
Yeah, definitely. What'd you guys think of the final showdown against I don't remember their names, but pretty much the guild people or the leaders, the overlords of the city, the lady that had the Beskar
Morgan
staff. Yeah. And the rest of the cronies. What'd you think of that, Mark?
It was really cool, obviously, to see anytime there's a lightsaber battle, lightsaber versus Beskar, and again, foreshadowing, because we will see this particular Beskar spear going up against a different type of lightsaber. Obviously, Rosario Dawson did a great job as Ahsoka. Definitely good to get more backstory for Grogu and all this kind of stuff. It's interesting in their conversation how she's like, I've seen what happens to to powerful Jedi Knights, and I'm paraphrasing, when
Of course.
they have this much fear and stuff like that. Obviously alluding to Anakin.
Yep.
But nice having those little nuggets. We get a Grand Admiral Thrawn reference.
Yep. Name drop.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see where things go with that. Whether we'll get a live action Grand Admiral Thrawn or not.
I mean, I think we can almost guarantee he's going to be the main villain, or at least a centerpiece of the Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
Whatever that's going to be called. I guess Ahsoka.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's going to be connected to Rebels very much. So even more incentive for all you folk out there to watch Rebels. It is so good. It is the best of Star Wars stories. Some of the best. Much of the best Star Wars stories. So
Yeah.
check it out. General Thrawn's in that. Ahsoka Tano. Some other cool cats. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my thoughts. Like, this was one of the two strongest, I think,
Yeah,
episodes of
definitely.
the season.
Definitely. Cool. All right. The next one, the tragedy.
Several tragedies.
This is, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's
Is-
true. Yeah.
so-
we could argue what the real tragedy was. Was it Grogu getting taken or the Razor Crest being destroyed?
Yeah.
Grogu, 100%.
Do you think so?
I think Crest. It's just a,
I
it's just
shed a
ship.
tear for the Razor Crest when
Well,
it got
yeah.
exploded.
Yeah, when that
I-
exploded, and the only thing that he can pick up is that Beskar spear.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's
The
left.
end. That's all that's left.
But
I'm like,
luckily,
what about-
he was there with Boba Fett. And
he got the knobby knob too.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, the
Yep,
knobby
I-
knob was in the ground. He picked it up and put it in his little pouch.
The knobby knob. But he was
Grogu's-
there with Boba Fett, and
Yeah, this is a big episode too, because Boba Fett came into the picture again. Finally, 5 episodes later.
With Slave One, his ship. Well, that's pretty awesome.
that was
And
really
with
cool.
Fennec, with
Yep.
Mulan, he also came.
True. She ain't dead.
Nope, Agent May is alive and well. She has a robo tummy.
Yeah,
She's
well,
got
hold
robo
on.
abs.
And so they were like, okay, I'll give you the armor if you help us, just defeat these stormtroopers. But there's like two ships that came in, and there were like 1,000 stormtroopers that were in those two
It was
small
like
ships.
a clown car.
And it was impossible for all those stormtroopers to be in there because where there's a scene when they're running back on, there's like 3 of them just run back into the little, the back of the ship, and I was like, there's
Right.
no way it held the 100 stormtroopers that were just in battle. I was like, there's only 2 ships.
They found a way. Life finds a
Clown
way.
car.
Yep,
Put him in
that's how
like
it
the
works.
above the seat stowaway things.
Yes. But yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, the
That whole
fighting
battle.
was the battle with Boba Fett, with Fennec, with Mando trying to get. So we're on this planet, so Grogu can reach out to a Jedi to train him.
Yes. Yep.
And this planet was called Tython, and I found out that this was actually a planet in the Legends lore from back in the day, the books and such.
Yeah.
That this was the birthplace of the Jedi Order,
The
apparently.
Jedi.
The Jedi Order.
Yep.
And so pretty important planet.
Yeah.
And he's in that pillar of force power, and Mando can't get in there, and so he kind of, tries to fight off the troopers until the the Dark Troopers.
Dark
There you go.
troopers. Oh my gosh,
show up.
those were like Terminators.
They were menacing. Yeah, they're exactly like Terminators, like Star Wars Terminators.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's so Empire of them, like, yeah, we've had previous Dark Troopers, but the one major flaw in these Dark Troopers is the human element. So
Yep.
we decided to make them droids.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was solid. I'm glad you get to see Boba Fett in action, renewing his character after going out like a punk in the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think given a good impression, like good first impression, he's an honorable character.
Yeah.
Like once he makes the deal with the armor, he says he'll protect the child, and he sticks with that commitment. And that's not a side of Boba Fett I think we really got in the original trilogy.
No, he really wanted his armor back, and
he did.
I love how they're humanizing these Mandalorians and these bounty hunters like Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. Because in the first season, it was like, you're not going to take your helmet off. This is the way. We don't
Right.
show our faces. And more in season 2, I think he took his helmet off maybe 3 times. And it was just like, especially in the last episode when he took it off, we will get there. But I like how it humanizes him. Like, okay, this is, even though he is a bounty hunter, he's a likable character.
Yeah,
100%.
He really is.
And Boba Fett was previously a really cool character that we wanted more of a story of, and now we're getting it. He's a bit older, but we're getting more of the story from him, and it's more of a human story rather than he's just a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Now, Patrick, you said he didn't take off his helmet very much before, but if you remember in one of the episodes with no "the" in the title, Sanctuary, he does in the window take his helmet off, and clearly the village could have seen him in the window.
Oh,
while he's eating.
Yeah,
It's true.
So he did do that.
Wasn't he about to eat? He can only take it
He
off.
was
when he
eating.
eats.
So
Yeah,
was he eating like this? Like he's like.
He did in
one of the episodes in season 2, he just lifts it up a little bit. And
he
drinks,
did,
and then he puts it back down.
He was sipping something. He's like, then he puts it back down.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, that leads to, if you guys are ready to go to the next to last episode. The next episode is The Believer, where we get to see the most of Mando's face, where he's just taking off his helmet, trading helmets off. Like, oh, let me try this stormtrooper helmet on and see what happens.
That was what was the name of the Bill Burr's character?
Mayfield.
Miggs Mayfield.
Mayfield. I
Return of
love
Mayfield.
his character.
Yes.
I love Bill Burr.
You know, he was criticized for his Boston accent. Like, people criticized him for using that accent, and he's like, Han talks to a big hairy Wookiee. People use English. Explain that away in a galaxy far, far away.
How do they have English? The universe speaks
can't
English.
Use Boston English. Boston English.
I like to refer to it as his Bothan accent.
Hey,
hey,
there you go. Oh, nice.
But yeah, they're on that in that one of those vans, and they're going towards that plant, and they're the only one that was able to get in there. And you find out like Mayfield was his whole like platoon gone, dead, and the general, the leader, whatever his name was, they were sitting down.
I don't know. He was a slimo. He doesn't. Yeah,
just talking to him like, hey, we did it for the Empire.
Yeah. Operation Cinder, he references from Battlefront 2. Little known fact.
And he's like, and he says, what about the family? Bill Burr's character, Mayfield. What about the family? What about the children? Was it good for them? And he got really mad. And then he just stands up and shoots him. And like,
takes him out. And it's just like,
and Mando's just like,
yeah. And then the stormtrooper in the background with his tray is just like, you couldn't see his face, but you could tell he was just like, what just happened?
No. His face, his helmet was off during that.
No, I'm talking about the stormtrooper in the background.
Oh yeah.
They look at him and he's got his tray and he's just like, but he's got his helmet on.
They shoot and kill them all. He's like, all right, no one saw your face. You can put your helmet back on.
By the way, the leader that you're talking about that got killed.
Yeah.
Joe Chill, Batman Begins.
Oh, it is Joe Chill. That's why he was so creepy.
Yep.
He's
real good. He's a Welsh actor.
As a creepy
real
person.
Good at doing like sleazy characters.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He got under Mayfield's skin.
Yeah, this was a huge episode though because Mando like went all in for Grogu. He like took his mask completely off. Like it wasn't like the end of season 1 where he's like with IG-88 and IG-88's like, I don't have a soul. I'm not a living being. You can do this, and he heals and blah blah blah. But this one, he's just like, I'm doing this.
Well,
it was really awkward.
He had to because it's the only way he could find where Moff Gideon was, the coordinates were, and he's like they had to do like some facial recognition, so the only way he could do it is to take off his helmet. So yeah, he definitely went all in.
Yeah, he was willing to do whatever it took. To get
whatever it takes.
Which is what Mayfield talked about. He's like, when it comes down to it, you're going to do whatever it takes. Forget your no helmet, no this, no that. You're going to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yep.
I really like their little conversations and driving, and Of course, the action was good. Fighting, I kind of felt bad for the freedom fighters or the native people that were trying to fight them off and just trying to. I think they were, even though they were being violent, I think they just wanted the Empire to go away. So it's kind of weird to cheer them on, to cheer on the Empire and Mando so they could get back. But yeah, it was cool. There's some cool action, explosions. And then the end of the episode, once they have Moff's light cruiser or whatever it's called in the window and they can communicate with it. I mean, Mando's little monologue to Moff Gideon to pretty much say he means more to me than you could ever know.
Which is literally his words.
Yep.
Yeah.
Throwing it back at him from season 1.
And he's like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. He should have been
did the Undertaker throat slit with
the thumb. Should have just lift his helmet up.
Yeah, you gotta lift the helmet first.
Complete
so you can see his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that leads into the final episode, the rescue.
Oh no, yeah, they let Mayfield go too.
Oh yes,
which was cool. So that means we'll probably he's still out there. We may see him later in the series. Who knows?
Yep.
But it was nice where Gina Carano's character was just like, it's a shame that Mayfield died in that explosion. He's like, what?
Yep.
You let me go? I'm gonna go. I'm going. And he leaves. I'm glad that they did that. Another way that they humanized the Mandalorian. Just like, okay,
for
get
sure.
out of here.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. But yeah, the last episode, the rescue, is all action, all getting to that Imperial cruiser and taking down Moff Gideon.
Yeah, and how they got onto that ship was awesome.
Was movie levels of cool.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Yep, just flying in and pretending like they were Imperials, and then which the build of that ship, I've never seen that. I don't think I've seen that in the animated series, and definitely not in the movies where the loading part is in the front, and they like all the TIE fighters come out that front part, and then
they're like inches. Right, they're inches away from hitting the walls
to get through. It's crazy. But yeah, they get in there, and then they got Group A going in to be the distraction, and then Mando slips in after that, starts looking for the chamber that holds the Dark Troopers and for Grogu. And this episode I think this episode really came down, other than the very end, this episode came down to the showdowns between Mando and the Dark Trooper. What a showdown. Like, it took every trick in Mando's bag to take down that Dark Trooper.
Yeah, it did.
That was struggle bus for him.
I thought something was going to happen to Mando when Mando was up against the wall and that Dark Trooper was just punching him straight in the helmet, and it was just going farther and farther into the wall. I'm like, oh my gosh.
When I was watching that, all I could think of was go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Yeah, it was like Hulkbuster armor. Go to sleep, go to sleep. You're not supposed to be cheering for that guy though.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, and then that old Beskar staff. I mean, I did not realize how tough Beskar is until this season.
Yeah.
And he just rips that Dark Trooper in half, shoots the rest of the Dark Troopers out into space. Which was really just a band-aid to the situation.
It was a temporary solution.
It's like, they have rocket feet. No.
Yeah, they're coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Then after that, we have the showdown between Moff and Mando.
Oh yeah, I want to point out. So earlier in the season, they capture Grogu.
You read my mind.
And Moff Gideon's like, put the shackles on him, and I'm like, oh. And
who has little shackles laying
around? I was like,
they
have shackles for Grogu, and I went on the internet and I found someone who did a meme, and it was just like that stormtrooper was like standing next to Moff Gideon, and he's like, shackles? You mean baby shackles? Wait, are we the bad guys?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But
I thought the second time watching where he's got the little shackles. I'm like, wait a second, where did they get these? Like, are they arresting fetuses now? Is that like we are?
They're the Empire. They've got to be ready for anything.
But in that same scene when Grogu's like throwing the stormtroopers at each other and in the wall, that was fun. Like he's just like, beating him up. But yeah, so Moff and Mando fight. What'd you think of it, Mark? Did you enjoy that little scuffle?
Yeah, I mean, you always know when they're making some sort of a bargain or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll let you go if you just give me the kid, and I'll give you whatever."
Yeah, I'll let you go free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like, obviously he's lying,
yeah,
and it gets pretty intense, especially with
yeah.
the Beskar and the Darksaber. But thankfully, like I said, foreshadowing, it can handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they during that fight, the fight early in the season, between Ahsoka and whoever that was that had the Beskar staff. But they're like, yeah, if this Beskar staff can, or the Beskar is impervious to anything, even this Darksaber, and this Darksaber can cut through anything except Beskar. So
Yep.
when I was like, well, I guess that's going to be a fight between Moff Gideon and the Mando. So
In the Mando. Yep.
yeah, yeah, and it was pretty awesome that
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
just he had basically his whole body was a shield.
Yeah.
And there's one point where he just puts up his forearm and the dark saber just hits his forearm and it doesn't go anywhere. I'm like, dang.
Flex, yeah.
Yeah. What a flex that was, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. He's like,
See that?
Darksaber.
Yeah. But it was a good fight, good choreography with the fight.
Yeah.
And it was great, but Mando beat Moff Gideon.
He did. And
He was the one that beat him.
He earned the Darksaber.
So I'm curious about this.
Yep. This leads into the discussion about the Darksaber. Let's hear it, Mark.
So, in doing some reading after watching this episode, of course I have not seen all of Rebels.
Yeah.
But I seem to have seen an episode where Sabine ends up handing the Darksaber to Bo-Katan.
Yep.
There was no fighting each other. She just handed it to her, and that was it.
So, I have a hypothesis, and this is my hypothesis because Mindy, my wife, and I had the same question. We watched those episodes, and we were like, okay, Sabine, who was a Mandalorian, just like Mando, who's a Mandalorian, hands Bo-Katan the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan accepts and says, for Mandalore, blah, 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 all that stuff in Rebels. And then in this one, you have the whole discussion with her, Moff Gideon, and Mando, where Mando's like, take it. I don't want it. I just wanted to rescue Grogu. And Moff's like, nope, can't do it. And there was something that Moff Gideon said. He said, this time she cannot accept it because she did not earn it. And so my hypothesis is that in Rebels, she was given the saber for the first time, and it was hers for the first time. Because prior to that, the former leader of the Death Watch had the Darksaber. And so at some point, she loses the Darksaber to someone in the Empire, or I don't know. But I think because she lost it by whatever rules
By not
they
losing
follow,
it
she
to
had
someone?
to earn it back. Yeah, by losing it to someone, it was obligatory for her to earn it back. That's my
Okay.
Okay.
I guess
yeah.
my guess.
I guess
what
I
happened.
can get behind that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch.
It's kind of an honor thing.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So she can't. She has to earn it.
Gotcha.
Which creates quite the platform for season 3.
Yeah. Yeah, there will be
Because
fighting.
There will be fighting because I mean it's Mandalorians. That's what they do.
Yep.
They fight each other. But yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah. So as he takes Moff Gideon back into the cockpit, into the main area, and when he's carrying Moff Gideon with his left arm, and his right arm is just with the Darksaber, just like
Yeah.
out, like he's like, I got it. This is awesome. But at this point, this is when those dark troopers come back.
We're back.
They come back and they're just like pounding this door, the blast doors, and it's like Terminator. They're just like methodically.
It's like Terminator mixed with Rock'em Sock'em robots. Like,
and then as they're punching, they stop, and then all of a sudden there's an X-wing that comes in.
I love
Now,
how
that-
one X-wing. Ooh,
one
okay.
X-wing.
Now,
To
what
be
did you guys
honest,
think? What was
when
your
you-
first exactly? Yeah,
yes.
go ahead.
So to be honest, when the X-wing came, did you think it was going to be Luke Skywalker?
See, I can't
No.
answer this question because
Oh,
You had
that's right.
spoilers,
You got
didn't you?
spoiled.
I got
That's right.
spoiled at the end.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So at first,
I-
I didn't think it was Luke Skywalker. I was like, it's
Yeah.
an X-wing. The Mandalorian. Back in episode 2, he had met up with those guys who were flying X-wings. I was
You
like,
thot
okay.
it was one of those guys?
I was like,
The
I
chubby,
didn't
"I'm
know
gonna
what to
shoot him."
think. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to think. But then, as soon as they showed the black, dark, long robe, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's Luke Skywalker. Then they show the green lightsaber. I was like, that's Luke Skywalker. And I was like, okay, that's the Jedi that Grogu had reached out to, or who had
Right.
listened to that. I was like, okay, that totally makes sense.
And that's the only thing I knew. Like, you say, did you think it was Luke at the beginning? I didn't. I thought it was just a Jedi. And I'm like, is this a new Jedi? Are they really going to do Luke? There's another Jedi from Rebels called Ezra Bridger. I thought maybe it could be him.
Yeah, with me not
well-
knowing a lot of the Star Wars lore and all the
Yeah.
other side
What are the
stories,
options?
I don't have I don't have a lot of options.
Right.
So that's why I thought
So-
it was going to be Luke Skywalker.
Now, my
Yeah.
daughter, who's not always good at putting all the pieces together, she's like, it's Ahsoka. She came back. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see.
No, her sabers
But
are
my
white.
son-
She has 2 of them.
My son called it. He
Yeah,
said
he did?
It's Luke Skywalker. Yep. He called it. I want to say like next to last or somewhere around there. Or when Grogu was calling for a Jedi, he said Luke Skywalker's going to get Grogu. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't make a face. I was just like, interesting.
Wow, yeah,
idea. My son he's got the mind for it. He's
Yeah,
John
especially-
Favreau in the making.
especially when you see like if there was any doubt with the black robe and all that kind of stuff and the green lightsaber, and then
Yeah.
you see the one glove,
Yep, the black glove.
the black glove on his was his left hand, I want to say. I was like, okay,
Right hand?
it's
don't
is it right
remember.
hand? I don't.
I can't remember.
We'll go right hand.
One of those hands. Anyway,
Matt,
one
feel free to
left hand.
correct us.
Yeah. And so obviously we get to the scene where he shows up,
He
pulls
goes
the robe
ape.
off.
I
Goes
thought it was
ape.
going to
Oh
be.
well, yeah,
on
definitely. He
those.
goes ape on all the.
He goes ape on those things. It's like the last one. He's just like, and it just squishes into a little compact.
Definitely a
can of
parallel to
plop.
Rogue One.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
With his
Acting like
daddy.
his dad.
And when he was taking off his helmet,
Headgear, his hood.
his hood. When he was taking that off, I thought it was gonna be like, is this gonna be the Winter Soldier? Is this gonna be Bucky? And because they both have the same facial features, they look
Oh,
they
okay.
look
I could
they
see
look a
that.
lot alike. I thought it was gonna be
Yeah.
him because everyone says, hey, look at these side by side pictures between them at their same age. They look the same. So I thought it was going to be that. I was not expecting it to be like a deep fake,
Me neither.
exact replica of both his voice and his face. I'm like, this.
I thought they just picked someone that looked similar. I
Yeah.
was very surprised. I was like, really? Animated? Okay.
Well, apparently Mark Hamill was actually involved.
Yeah.
In
I
some
thought he
way.
voiced.
Did he
was
voice it?
I thought he
Yeah.
voiced it.
Oh, he did voice it because I was like, this sounds just like him.
Yeah, I think he was in some way he was involved.
Yeah.
But obviously they credited him because it's his face, his voice, his likeness. But yeah, I want to say he was involved. He was actually involved in it. Now I will say this: they do a very serviceable job of recreating Luke's face on someone's body.
They did. I
However-
think they did a fantastic job with his still face.
Right.
Yes.
However,
when he talks.
well, that's not so much the big deal either. Like I saw a deep fake one on there online later
Yeah.
that looked way better than the one
yeah,
that
I
they
know.
did.
I was so
Oh, really?
bummed. I'm like, wow, that looks a bit better.
Yeah,
And this was just a deep fake from what they did on the show.
yeah. But I mean, I still think they did a decent job with it.
It was fine, but I don't want a whole show. Like, I don't want a whole episode with deep fake Luke.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I
no,
was
no, no,
fine with the
no.
portion they did it with.
Mhm.
Him talking
Yeah.
just a minimal amount, being very solemn. That was fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked it. I can't think of a better way to end it for a better Jedi to get him that makes sense with this time period and the history of the Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
story. So it makes sense.
Yeah. But
And
then Grogu and Mando say
I was
bye
just
to
gonna
each other.
say, and then the most heartbreaking moment of the show, saying goodbye
Mando
to
takes
Grogu.
off his helmet. Grogu puts his hand on his cheek. It's like, dang.
They missed a moment to like just be like, never gonna let you go, like just like have a song moment, just like it gets dark in the
Sometimes
background.
when we touch.
Yeah, just something. Yeah, what a touching
Yeah,
moment though. I
it
mean, it's just a
was.
little puppet touching a man's face, but it was just,
To us, it
I don't
was
know.
real.
It was real. It was real. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said goodbye.
Yeah. So they say goodbye. Luke leaves, and then,
Oh, R2
man.
shows up.
No, R2's there. Yeah.
And that's when he shows up and acts like he knows Grogu, and Grogu's like, "What's up?" It's like, tell me when he shows up again, he's gonna be able to speak words.
Oh, it's gonna be the. I'm
Or
like,
is it
nope.
just-
Season 1, season 2. I'm gonna watch those over and over again.
Or is his voice just gonna change and be like,
It's gonna be like
Grogu,
it's gonna go
the
high and
teenage
low.
years.
Yeah. It's gonna be going through puberty.
Oh gosh, I don't know about that.
No, it's gonna be like a Thursday night on CBS show.
Oh no, no. Please
It's
no.
gonna be like Family Matters or Step by Step, and he's just like a
Oh.
teenager.
Have you seen this is total side note, but have you guys seen the like 90s sitcom recut of Mandalorian
I love those.
where they make it, yeah, and it's just like
They look at the
Oh my
screen like,
gosh.
hey.
scenes. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah. And then after that, I think we just have left the after credit scene,
After
right?
credit scene, yeah. Yeah. Which was a surprise to everyone.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like,
I didn't
okay.
We're getting another. At first, I was like, "Is that another series, or is that just what season 3 is going to be
It's
called?"
another series, I think.
But it's
Here's
another
another
series. That's
The
pretty
Book
cool.
of Boba Fett.
I'll
Why is
take
it a
it.
book? Does he even read books? Like, why wouldn't it be the
I don't know,
I
probably
don't
know. Who knows?
alliteration. They want to be Book of Boba.
Book of Boba?
Man, Bib Fortuna got fat.
Oh my, didn't he? Yeah, he got super fat.
He's just sitting on the royalties from Star Wars and all
It's
that
true.
merchandise.
Now, is that going to happen to Boba and his fat's going to be like squeezing out of between his
Ooh.
armor?
I
Is
mean,
that,
he's already got a nice little plump
he
tummy.
does. He looks like a linebacker
Boba
wearing
the
that
Hutt.
Boba Fett armor.
Boba the
With-
Hutt.
Boba the Hutt. Yeah, I think it'll stick.
Anyone who
Might
sits
as
in
well.
that chair just balloons.
Becomes
Like
a hut.
Bucky.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, do you
Great.
guys have any final thoughts? Do you guys have any thoughts about where we're going to go from here? Where things are going to go? I think it's pretty.
No,
clear.
I don't. I don't have any predictions. It's going to be different if they're not going to have Grogu in it. You
Agreed.
know, it's going to be totally different.
I have a
Yeah.
feeling, and I could be completely wrong, and I'd be okay if I was wrong. I have a feeling they're not going back to Grogu.
Don't say that. I want him to pick up Grogu at the beginning of season 3 and have little Mandalorian armor to put on him
Nah.
with the ears coming out.
I
And just like
think
little jetpack.
I think the story of Grogu has been told. You
Yeah.
know, like it's
Probably
it's
right.
2 seasons.
At least
you know,
for
this,
now.
Yeah, at least for now.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to come back to it, but what is going to be the hook? Because with Grogu being in this show, it has reached a wider audience than it would
For
have
sure.
if it didn't have Grogu. I firmly believe that. If they're not going to have Grogu, people are going to be like, "Where's Grogu? Why?"
I think they're
is
going to
he not-"
see how it goes in season 3, and then in season 4, if season 3's not as big, they'll find a way to bring Grogu back.
Yeah.
Like he'll be older, maybe he'll use words.
Maybe they'll do a time jump. They could do a time jump.
Time travel in Star Wars.
No. I mean, like
Oh,
5
okay.
years in the future.
gotcha.
This is what
I was
this
like,
is what
wow.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
jump ahead in time. I could see that, especially if something huge happens in season 3.
Yeah, and also with aren't they doing another trilogy of movies as well? So
They
maybe maybe something to tie into that too.
Yeah, they're giving it some breathing room for a while, but I think they are going to do some sort of.
Yeah, I mean, as far as breathing room, like I don't care about if we're gonna wait for another movie. I mean, we're getting Mando season 3. We're getting the book
Yeah.
of Boba. We're gonna get a what other Star Wars spinoffs we're gonna get? We're gonna get a Gina
Ahsoka.
Carano,
Yeah.
Ahsoka. You know,
Yep,
we're gonna
Ahsoka.
get other spinoffs.
Yep.
So if this is what they want to do, I'm okay with not
I
having
mean, let's
a movie.
be honest. Some of the best storytelling in Star Wars to this point is actually the shows, like
They have much more to
Rebels, Clone Wars,
backstory,
Mandalorian.
character
I mean, I love the
development.
movies, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shows have solid character arcs and stories and stuff that happens. So
Hmm.
you
Yep.
don't have to fill in the gaps and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited.
Yep, me too.
Very, very excited.
Me, Trace.
All right.
All right. Well, there you go. That's all. I think we have spoken.
We have
And
spoken.
this is our way, and that's it. So,
There you go.
if you guys would like to continue the discussion, you can, of course, find us on Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and email. There are links in the show notes. You can call us at 929 GMG Guys. You can rate, review us, and all that jazz on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Stitcher. We would very much appreciate it. Other than that, unless Ronnie wants to add some Star Wars music to the GMG music playlist, I don't think we have anything else.
Ronnie? Ronnie's doing it?
Ronnie's gonna add music to
say
the
Ronnie?
playlist. You
You
did.
did.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for Ronnie to drop a comment in the Twitch or YouTube's, however that works.
Yeah.
Maybe
No.
not.
GMG music playlist.
Is that not how that
retired for
works? All right, fair enough.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Indeed. All righty then. Pat, Mark, and Ronnie J, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. For those that were able to join us, thank you so much for being with us along this ride of Mandalorian Season 2. This wraps up our time with The Mandalorian. And so from here on out, go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.
One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four.